going on, everybody? It's your boy NOFTY Nofty back with it, and as I projected from my one and only episode of a podcast, I wasn't gonna stick with it, and I definitely did not stick with it. I said I was gonna try, but I probably wasn't gonna, and I did stick with that. So anyway, though, it doesn't matter because I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say that I'm definitely sticking with it this time, but I'm gonna try to stick with it. When I first started this channel, I was just doing stupid things with my friends and stuff like that, like just regular YouTube stuff, just because that's what we were watching. Then I kind of transformed over to like phone games, all that stupid stuff. And then I went to sports. But then like something I was really trying to get into, which I've always been into, but I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to it, is just music, and mainly rap music, but everything, and I kind of want to go back towards that direction. I want to share my thoughts. I'm always thinking about music. When new music drops, I'm always looking, and I'm always giving my thoughts on it. And I started this new thing. Me and my friends always talk about it all the time, where it's like, we think about years, like, oh man, 2019 was a great year for music, things like that, album stuff. And then we can never really remember. We always got to look it up. And then, they always have like the basic answers that won awards and stuff like that. But so I started this idea where I'm just going to, as things drop, I'm going to listen to the albums. I'm going to rate them. I'm going to go through them. Like, even if it doesn't sound like something I'm interested in, which I usually do, I usually just listen to things that I'm interested in. Even if it's something that I'm not interested in, I'm really going to try to start listening to them. So I've been doing this now for the whole month of January, and I want to do this now where I give my thoughts and my feelings on every month's albums, and it's going to be mainly rap and hip-hop, but there are some pop, maybe if a popular rock album drops, something like that, but really like take my grades and stuff on pop and other genres with a grain of salt, because really my main thing is rap. And this month has been an interesting one. I think I have a total of 21 albums that I've listened to and rated, with most of them being rap. I think there's 2 or 3 that aren't rap, but yeah, so I just want to start doing this, and now at the end of every month I really want to get into this and just rate them. I'm going to give you guys my feelings, let you guys tell me how you feel about it. Of course, feelings are going to change, but this is basically just my first thoughts on it. I have quotes from it, like when I first finished it, I kind of gave my thoughts on it and why I ranked it where I ranked it. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Please, leave a like, subscribe, share, whatever you got to do. But just tell me your thoughts about it. Like, tell me which albums were your favorites, and tell me any ideas you have with it. Right now, I'm kind of just going to go over my top songs off the album's rating, the album alone, and then my first thoughts on it. But, if you guys want me to start doing maybe like monthly awards, best songs, stuff like that, that'd be great. Just let me know what you guys want me to do, and I just want to give you guys this little update, but we're going to get back into it. Audio is going to be better, all that, you know what I'm saying? So let's go. All right, so first album we got that I listened to of 2023 of January was Trippie Redd's Mansion Musik. A lot of people had pretty bad thoughts about this album. Me personally, it definitely wasn't good at all, but I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. So my initial thoughts of it was amazing start with completely subpar middle and ending. Either Trippie or Future's ruined most songs. A couple songs were amazing. My top songs were Nightcrawler with Juice, Psycho with Future, and Mansion Musik. The Nightcrawler song is amazing. I have that song in my regular playlist. Like I'm always listening to that song. Psycho as well, I really like that song. Mansion Musik's okay. It's good, but there's so many songs on there that it's just like either Trippie's like doing horrible, or he's doing okay, and then his feature comes on and he just ruins the song. I have a lot of songs in this album that I like. I'll put them on my likes just because it's okay, but it's really not a good album at all. And I think a 4.5 is necessary for it. Alright, so second album I listened to was the one that was released on the same date that caught a lot of mainstream attention. Ice Spice and her first project. Very disappointing. My initial thoughts were only 6 songs, and the only ones that were decent were previously released singles. Included one extremely disappointing Lil TJ feature. When I seen this track list, I was a little disappointed because I thought she was releasing a little something bigger, at least 8 songs. It was only 6, and the only song that she added to it that was actually decent was Acting a Smoochie, which was like, okay, I haven't listened to it since I listened to it, but it was a decent song. Munch and In Her Mood was the other 2 songs that I had up here. Both previously released singles, and I mean, a lot of people know, everybody knows those songs. They're both decent, but there's nothing to be too excited about there. The other songs that she added were not great, and then I don't even like. I know Bikini Bottom got a lot of love and a lot of attention, but I didn't even like that song at all when it came out. I forgot what the other one was, but just not good, and you can't give her a high grade because she only had 6 songs and half of them were bad. So I give her a 2.5, and there's just not much to listen to. Hopefully she can come back with a bigger project soon, and I don't know, we'll see. But 2.5 is my grading for right now. All right, so this is an album that actually released, I believe, the earliest out of the ones that I've done, but I got to it a little late. This is one of the albums that I wouldn't have listened to if I wasn't doing this whole project. NBA Youngboy, all respect to him, he's not bad, but he released like 20 albums a year, and I don't really care to listen to any of them usually. But a different style for Youngboy, but I like it. There's just not any songs I could say I'll definitely come back to. Solid project. Those were my initial thoughts on it, and I can say that my thoughts have already changed a little bit on that. I gave it a 6 out of 10, which is a good rating. That really is. The ones that are highlighted in green means that's a pass for me. And this album is good, man. It's solid. All the songs on it are solid. There's just none that are like amazing, except for Louis V. Louis V is a really good song. I've actually listened to it a ton, and it's in my normal shuffle. Louis V is great, and then Hey Pop's a good song. Black, I like some of the songs where he's a little slower. Those are like the only Youngboy songs that I've really liked initially to this, but some of like I don't know how to explain it, but like that trippy type beat that he's been using, that he used on this album, like that, like I don't know how to explain it fully, but that I really like him on that beat, and it actually I'm a big fan of this project. It's not like anything that I love, or I'm gonna say is like top tier or anything, but it's definitely one of the better albums of this month, undoubtedly. Okay, so this is the one right here. This album I just seen on one of the things that was like, oh, this is one of the albums that came out. I didn't know anything about it, but I just wanted to do it because, like I said, I'm trying to listen to every album that I can. Butcher House by Sematary. Oh my god. This might possibly be the worst album I've ever listened to in my life. Okay? My initial thoughts, every song sounds exactly the same, and that's not a good thing. Possibly the worst project I've ever listened to. Top songs, none. 0 out of 10. This album is horrible. If you want your ears to hurt, listen to this album. This is god awful. Okay, so this is an album that I seen when it first came out, and I seen like a couple songs here and there because I follow a lot of people that were on the album. But if you know me and you know what music I like, French Montana is in my starting lineup of rappers that I really don't like to listen to, and DJ Drama is possibly one of the most annoying people I've ever listened to. So all respect to both of them, but I don't like both of them. So I pushed this album off for a little bit until I really realized that I wanted to do this. So then I listened to it and I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. It's nothing bad, but there are some really good songs on it. I said it's a label project, so I said as a label project, it's going to have its hits and misses. However, French Montana Chasing Trends is cringe, and a lot of these songs are misses with few individual performances that pop out. Now I'm gonna explain exactly what I mean by that, but French Montana, he tried to like do a million different things on this album, and a lot of them didn't work at all. My favorite song off the album is Chit Chat, which is another one of those things that I'm talking about with a great individual performance. This whole song is good. You know, ASAP isn't really in it. He kind of just does some talking in the beginning. But Smokey is amazing in this song. Like, his hook is so catchy. That song's been completely in my rotation. Then D-Thing, everything he came onto it, you know, shout out my New Yorker. But every time he's on it, the 30's great. I think Die in the Streets is the other one. This album is actually good. It's a label project, so it's like there's a lot of songs that were misses. Like, a lot of the people that I'd never heard of, it's for a reason. And yeah, they just had a lot of features. They had Tory Lanez, ESTG, Big 30, ASAP, Smokey. All right, so this album, you know, we're only a little bit into 2023, but it's already in contention for most disappointing rap album of the year, because I listened to Joey Trap growing up, like, not like crazily, but you know, he had that Sesame Street song, and then he had that album with Tokyo's Revenge a couple years ago, and I have both of those in my playlist. I listen to them still to this day. Like, some of those songs are really good. So when I seen Joey Trap drop, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, you know, it's not going to be a great album, but it's going to be solid. You know, there's probably going to be a couple songs that I'm going to listen to, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if he spent too much money on, you know, chains or something like that, and he lost all his money, and now he has to record in what I record in, or what happened, but the quality's horrible. His flow is terrible. His bars are terrible. Everything about this album is really, really bad. So I gave it a 0.2 out of 10. And I've genuinely heard better music from local SoundCloud artists. This is terrible. That was my thing, and there was no top songs. Yeah, just a very disappointing, bad album, and definitely not one that I would ever come back to ever in my life. Alright, so besides the Youngboy one, this is the one that I definitely might get some controversy over, and I respect you if you feel other ways about this. It's just, for me personally, BabyTron, he's just not a rapper that you would ever like listen to, just listening. Like, just when you're sitting there and you're listening to music, you're in the car, you're in your room, wherever you are. He's not a rapper that you just listen to. Like, you might pull up a song by him, but you're never gonna like just listen to his music. And for me, that's why his grade is pretty low. But I had to respect him and I gave him a 3 out of 10. And if I was just going off of straight things that I would listen to, it would be lower. But I have to respect him because some of his lyrics are actually entertaining to listen to. And, you know, I'm a big NBA guy, so he has a lot of creative lines about NBA players, creative songs about NBA players, a lot of just like street knowledge. So like, this is what I said in my initial take. I said the second part of this project, so it's extremely long. This album was so long, hard to get through the whole thing. However, the lyrics and street knowledge makes it somewhat interesting. Yeah, the album was huge. I think it was around 31 songs or something like that, and it was kind of hard to listen to. I was really trying to get through it. But, you know, there was a couple decent songs on it. Remote Control is actually a decent song. Beetleborgs with Corday. Every time Corday's on a song, it's going to be good. And then Cat Dog. They're okay. I haven't listened to them since the album, but they're all solid. I just like his pop culture knowledge and stuff like that, but not an album that I would really ever come back to. All right, so this is going to be the lowest grade I'm gonna give for something that I actually enjoy so much on the whole year. It's Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here, and my initial take was completely new project for someone like Yachty, and I can appreciate trying something new even though it didn't really work. There are some decent songs. The album's not good. It's not a good album, and I've heard some people like Dante and stuff like that, and their live reactions say that this is like a great album. It could be album of the year if it keeps going like that. But I didn't really get that. The whole time I was listening to it, I was like, "Ooh, this is pretty bad." But I just love it. Like, if you know Lil Yachty, you just, like, you just know he's like a funny guy. He's always trying to experiment with things, and this is amazing. Like, it's just like the ride is fantastic. Like, don't let no, that's so that's really like, it's not a great song by any means, but it's just like, it's interesting, it's funny, it's cool to see Yachty trying things like that, and I could just appreciate him so much for trying something like that. And I think that this is just a start for him. If he keeps going in that direction and he keeps trying to go into that like crazy like vibe rock phase of his, whatever he's trying to do, it could really work out for him. I just think that this album wasn't completely it, but I love it just for the simple fact that he went from a trap rapper to trying something new, and I think it's actually gonna work. It's just not really working yet, and I could just appreciate it so much. So this is this is like the most loving 3.5 you're ever gonna hear from me ever. All right, so the first boom bap type throwback type album of the year, a wolf is still Calm Wolf is Still a Wolf by Styles P, of course, the OG from New York. An OG doing what he always does, amazing bars and a consistent track list, just not much variety. Good album, that's what I said. 6.5, 65%, it's a good album. There's nothing like amazing on it, but there's good bars, it's just a good rap album. That's all it is. There's nothing that's gonna jump out of the track list, and there's nothing bad either. So it's just, What You Want to Do is a really good song, and Porch Lights is also really good. Death Before Dishonor is good, but by the time it hits the third chorus, it's like, all right, I've kind of had enough of this guy singing the hook. But I mean, it's a good album. There's nothing wrong. There's not much to say about this album. It's a good album. And if you like bars, then you're gonna like this album. If you don't, then you're gonna hate it. That's just all I gotta say. All right, so another underground album, University by Popstar. Benny had no idea who this was, but it turns out I didn't even realize. But halfway through the album, I realized that he's a producer. So my initial take was a bad project, where from the producer standpoint alone it was okay, but from straight music standpoint it was dreadful. Hopefully he can find better artists for later projects. As a producer, these beats are actually really solid, and I think that if he had real talent over them, it would be a good album. It's just, he's an underground guy. He's got a lot of underground rappers with him, and no disrespect to any of them, but they're not really there yet, and this album is not good really at all. It would be lower too, but the only reason why it's a 1.5 out of 10 is because Wild Boy with 4 Pooch and Oh My God featuring Skate Star are actually 2 good songs. All the Girls Love, or All the Girls Heart, or whatever it is, isn't a good song either. It's just okay, so it made the top 3. But Wild Boy and Oh My God are actually 2 decent songs, and I would actually listen to those again. Yeah, it's not a good album, but I mean, shout out to him because he really killed it with the beats. Alright, so this album I was actually excited to see. I think this guy's very underrated. I heard about him through Sad Frosty, R.I.P. But yeah, DC the Don's always gonna be solid. Sacred Heart, I gave this album a 5.5. A lot of songs sound very similar, but they're all good. No songs pop out the track list, and it slowly got a little worse going down, but none were bad. When I was listening to this album, like halfway through it, I was like, yeah, so far I'm gonna give it like a 6.5. It kind of went down a little bit. The songs kind of started getting a little old. A lot of them are very similar, and there's not a ton of songs on there that are like, I'm definitely gonna go back to it, but there's no songs on it really either that are like, I'm never coming back to this. Like, there might be, like, if it's on one day and you just want to like kind of vibe and listen to just some whatever, that's you might let one of these songs play out. I think 11:30, SRT, and NASCAR are three solid songs. 11:30 is good. 11:30 is definitely my favorite song off the album, but not a bad album. It's whatever. It's very average. It's just it's solid. It passes. All right, so we got "Great He Is" by Popcaan. I think is how you pronounce it. Popcaan, something like that. But I pushed this album off so long, and I was thinking about for not even listening to it at all, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised by it. I heard We Can Done, We Can Not Done with Drake in it, and I was like, what is this right now, bro? I just laughed at it because it's like, it's not even his fault, and it's actually not a terrible song. As you can see, it's in my top 3. It's not a terrible song by any means. It's just funny hearing Drake trying to act like a million different people. I guess it's just like, that one was, he was trying to be Jamaican, and it was just funny. But actually listening to the album it was way better than I expected. My statement was not really my type of music at all, but I am very impressed for my extremely low expectations. The album kept getting better throughout the listen, and I still found ways to enjoy it despite it not being my favorite style. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10, which is, it's no knock. I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt just because that's not my type of music at all. It's like, Jamaican kind of vibe music, which obviously is not really my style. But 11th Commandment is actually a really good song. Next to Me with Tony Ann sings. She killed it on the vocals. Her vocals are amazing in that song. The song with Drake is, like I talked about, it's okay. If you like that kind of music, then you'd probably really enjoy this album. It's not really my cup of tea or whatever you want to say. So, but, not bad. All right, so I didn't really hear about this guy too much. I think it was XXL or somebody posted an interview with 21 Lil Harold as kind of, talking about his relationship with 21 Savage, stuff like that. I didn't really know who he was, but when a song dropped, one of the songs off the album dropped with 21, it came into my like drops for you or whatever it's called on Spotify, and I listened to it, and it was okay. It was a solid song. I didn't even realize that it was an album, and then I ended up coming back to it a little late, and it was actually really good though. This guy, if you haven't heard of him, you should pick up on him because I think he's going to be coming up pretty big. He had some really good features on it, like Young Nudie, G Herbo, Nardo Wick, 21 Savage. I mean, this album was actually really good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. All the songs but one are good, and all of the features did their thing. Definitely an album I'd come back to, and I have came back to it already. The song with Nardo Wick is very good. Out of Time has a amazing Nardo Wick type beat where it's like, the vocals in the background singing with an amazing trap beat over it. And then Damn with G Herbo is also another great song. Give No Fucks with Nardo Wick. It's a good song. It's a good song. I've listened to it since then, and there's not really anything bad to say about this album. This whole album you can listen to. There's only like one song I didn't add to my playlist. Definitely an album worth listening to, and if you haven't given it. Alright, so this is another album that I also kind of pushed off for a long time. Talibando. I was like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. But another album that actually surprised me. It's not anything amazing, but it's good. I gave it a 6.5, which means that, like, it's a good album. I'm definitely going to come back to it. It's nothing, like, amazing. It's not over the edge, but it's good. Warlord by Talibando. This is my first time listening to Talibando, and I'm very impressed. These songs are good, and they're just going to get better. What I meant by that is the only thing I explained it here. The only thing that holds it back is lack of production. His production still is a little low and stuff like that. Like his I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's just the production in it. His vocals might be down a little bit. If he had the same production as somebody like Nardo Wick, somebody like that, like Lil Baby, these songs would all be great, and it'd probably get an 8. It's right there, and I think I'm really excited to hear what this guy has to drop more because this album is really good. Addict is an amazing song off it. Swim Team with Babyface Ray. He didn't really have a great part on that song, but Babyface Ray took that over. And Stakeout is another good song by him. Yeah, so I think you really got to look out for this guy, because this guy's actually he's really talented. And once he gets up there and he gets able to work with more people and work with better producers, this guy's really going to be good. So keep an eye out for him. Here we go now. This is Until Possibly Today, since I've listened. This is my favorite album of the year so far. Money, Family, Respect by Celly Ru. This is another one that I pushed off for a long time, and I was like, I don't really know who this guy is. The only thing that really saved it was the fact that he had some good features on it, and I was like, all right, I'll give him a chance just because it has some good features. I've heard of him before, but I didn't really know who he was at all. He had some guys on there like Mozzie, One Take J, stuff like that, and E Mozzie, Lil Blood, all those guys, like, got lower guys, but they're still good. And it's Money, Family, Respect. I gave this album an 8.5 out of 10. This album is worth listening to, and I just had nothing but great things to say. My take on it was, I wasn't too familiar with Celly Ru, but wow, am I amazed. This album contains great lyricism with vibe songs about tough times and tough places with hard trap songs. This album is the best so far for this year, and I wrote the date on it just because that's my take as far as that. I'm not saying this is going to be the best album of the year, but as of right now, this is the best album of the year. Which it might, I have an album that I listened to today, for my second to last album that I've listened to from January, and it definitely gives it some competition, but this album is really good. Alright, so my first real non-rap album of the year here, more mainstream album that I felt like I had to listen to, is Gloria by Sam Smith. I'm not the biggest fan of Sam Smith, but I'm not anything bad. I don't dislike him in any type of way. It's just, that's not really my style. I don't listen to much pop music, but Sam's vocals are outstanding, so I gotta give him his credit and appreciate the vibes of this album. This album actually pleased me. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Love Me More, Perfect, and Lose You are my top 3 songs off the album. There's a couple more that are right there too that are really good. He's just got an amazing voice, and there's no way around it. It's just a good album. It's not really my type of music, but it's a good album, and I know it's gonna get awards, stuff like that, because it does deserve it. It's just not, for me personally, it's not anything that I'm in love with, but I have came back to it because it's definitely going on my vibes playlist. Some of them are going on my sadder playlist, stuff like that. It's a good album. I suggest it if you're into that. Alright, so staying with the kind of pop idea, we got 4, the Pink album by Lukas Graham. I have very mixed thoughts on Lukas Graham as a whole and this album. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10. It's not a bad album, and it's gonna get a lot more credit from other people than me. Like I said, it's not bad. I just don't like pop much, and I think his voice is very overrated. I think there's many flaws with it. However, there are a couple songs I enjoy. Wish You Were Here with Khaled is really good, and By the Way is really good. One by One it's not the most appealing song to the ears right away, but when you really listen to the words, it's very it's very touching, and it just talks about how life can just be over like that, and you gotta basically just you just gotta keep living and stuff like that. And I really like that message. It's a solid album. It's just not really for me. Alright, so this is the album that I was talking about that is in contention for album of the year so far. Gave it the same grade as Money, Family, Respect. Yeah, this is Clark Street Baby by BIC Fizzle. I think that's how you pronounce it, at least. Not too familiar with this guy, although I know that he is, with guys like Big 30 and stuff like that. And I have seen his name on Gucci Mane's project. I'm not I don't know too much about him. Yeah, I held this song out until today because it has 31 songs on it. It's over an hour long, and I was like, man, I don't know who this guy is. This is going to be a hard listen. I was completely wrong. I said, Okay, well that's I had a typo there, I think, but um I wasn't happy when I seen a 31 song project from an artist I don't know, but this album is great. There's almost no misses and it is all stuff I will gladly come back to. Makes case for album of the year so far. Um Check with Big Yavo, Snow Cone with Quavo and Gucci Mane, and Where You From. Where You From might legitimately be my favorite song of this album, and it might be my favorite song this whole year so far. It's got the jump instrumental, but it's like it's looped to make it tough, and it's just tough, man. It's so alright. So this is an album that I seen last night that got posted. I didn't even hear about it, but I've never heard of this guy until yesterday. BigBayGucci, which is an interesting name, but um, I just to determine that I was gonna listen to this album, I listened to his most popular song, which is interesting because his second most popular song is like 200,000 listens, but his top one is like 14 million, and I've never heard it before. But it's really good, and it made me want to listen to it. This album is Homesick, and I gave it a 5 out of 10. It's an average album. It's above average for as far as January, but it's a solid album. It's definitely one that maybe there's a couple songs that I come back to, but there's some misses for sure. But it's a good vibe album. I said I've never heard of Gucci, but his music isn't bad. This isn't an amazing album by any means, but it's really solid. A lot of songs I would listen to again. That's all I gotta say. Middle East is a really good song. Bad Habits is solid, and Adele / Keep Losing Focus is another good song. If you want to just check it out, you should check out those couple songs. I mean, it's not like a great album, but it's not a bad one at all, and I think that it's definitely gonna go, a little underrated as people rate albums and stuff for January and this year. All right, it's another interesting album for me. I seen this one drop, but I wasn't gonna listen to it, and I listened to it today. '03 Greedo, he's been locked up, free him, but I've been pushing this off because everything that I've really heard from '03 Greedo has not really been my favorite. There's that song, I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's with Shoreline Mafia. It's pretty popular, and that song is really Trap House. That song is really good. But other than that, everything he's really dropped hasn't been good. This one's by '03 Greedo and Mike Free, so Free '03, I get it, but 1.5 out of 10 for me. I said all respect to both artists, but this album's bad. If it's not on a jail phone, then it's just terrible auto-tune with bad flows. Only a couple of okay songs. These 3 songs that I have in my top 3 are the only songs that I added to my playlist at all. Took a little minute, solid. I Can't Control Myself with OGZ isn't a great song, but it has kind of a similar vibe to Trap House, so I kind of enjoy it. But there's really not much to go off of this album. Drop Down featuring Ken the Man. Ken the Man actually saved that whole song. Alright, so this is the last album that I listened to, and I wanted to listen to it because I've heard of this guy before. He was on Trippie's album. I've heard of him from some other ways and stuff. But the thing that really held me back from listening to it is the length again. And this time, it wasn't one of the albums that I put off and I actually ended up really enjoying. It was an album that I didn't really like too much. It's not bad. It's not like horrible. I give it a 3 out of 10. It's not horrible, but it's not good. It wasn't the worst listen ever, but all the songs for the most part sound the same, and none of them are great. A few of them are solid. Album Just For You, Pilates, and Van Cleef Poppin' they're all okay songs. Like if I had to pick a couple, those would be the ones. It's just the only reason why I got a 3 is just because none of the songs on the album are like unlisten-toable, but like none of them are really anything that's guaranteed to come back to. It's just not great. There's not much else to say about it other than the fact that it's not great. Alright, so before I go and edit this video, I just want to say a little, little outro real quick. I want to keep consistently doing this and stuff. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Let me know if you guys feel like I'm completely tripping. Let me know if, whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel like saying, you might as well say it. Give me your favorite albums of the year. Give me your least favorite albums of the year. Tell me if my takes are good, bad, whatever you want to say. Tell me if you have any ideas or something that I should do to, you know, make these videos better, more entertaining, stuff like that. And yeah, we're gonna be back at this at the end of February. You know, I might post something in between, something here and there, maybe a little video. I don't know. Maybe, probably not. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if there's something that I want to make. But yeah, I really want to keep doing this, and, you know, give me the feedback. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all you want to do. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and NOFTY out.